Yeah, yeah. Well, um, yeah. So sorry, I just see Neelam started the recording. Um, so yes, so Justin is no longer with 4-H. So I reached out to Kane Reeves, and he put me in contact with the director of the 4-H office there. And unfortunately, they only have it available one of the 2 days that we need it.
Okay,
So it's not going to work to do it at the 4-H office.
okay.
So uh, my next plan was to reach out to some of the local hotels, unless Greg, you know of another meeting type facility. It doesn't have to be like a formal meeting place, but some place that's big enough to hold about 25 people, um, and have enough room where we can kind of separate out into breakout groups is really all we need. It doesn't have to be anything fancy.
And that's a Friday and a Saturday, right?
It was Thursday and Friday.
Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, Thursday, um, November
Six.
6th, and Friday, November 7th.
Okay. Uh, I'm gonna go on mute and make a phone call real quick and see. I, have we met before at my old district office, city schools district office?
I don't think so.
Okay, and it's. I mean, it's easy to get to right off I-24.
Okay.
Let me see. Oh gosh. I'm gonna go on mute here.
Okay. And while Greg is doing that for the other folks on the call, um, we got a couple more responses to the attendance survey, and um, several of them said that they would attend regardless of where it was. And we had one more person say that they would prefer it to be in Middle Tennessee. So that increased the number of people who preferred Middle Tennessee, um, to 5 compared to 2 that preferred it in East Tennessee. So it seems like it was a good decision for the committee to go ahead and move forward with having it in Middle Tennessee. Um, and I think we can work out the meeting space. Um, 'Cause, worst case scenario, we might have to pay, you know, a meeting room fee at one of the hotels there, maybe a couple $100 a day. But I think we'll be able to make it work. Um, let's see. Let me think if there are any other updates that might be helpful while Greg's calling his former district office. Um, I guess, Neelam, did did we share those 2 sample retreat agendas beforehand?
We
So those went out to everybody. Um, so I guess one question would be if anybody has any thoughts about the agenda while we're waiting for Greg to come back, um, in terms of uh,
yeah,
um,
it was sent to them on 13th of August to everybody, so they can
all
look
right,
at their email.
prior to the other meeting, right? Okay. Um, well, Neelam, would you mind, while while we're waiting for Greg to come back, would you um, resend that
Yeah, yeah,
email with those attachments just so people can have
sure,
them kind of handy with
absolutely.
the
Hmm.
22 and 23. I think those are the ones that we sent out, the fall
Hmm.
retreat agendas from 2022 and 2023.
Correct.
And I think I mentioned this on the last call, the agenda from 2022 was the last time that the commission went through the process of approving a new state service plan, as opposed to just reviewing and making updates. So that it would be kind of the one that's the closest to what we would need to do at this upcoming retreat.
Jim, just to fall
Yeah.
back 1 second, the secretary is calling me back in a few minutes.
Okay.
The 7th was not a problem. She had a group that was going to be in there for a little while on the 6th, but she thought that she could move them around, but she's going to let me know.
Okay.
And that was November 6th and 7th, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much all day on both days, although the 7th we would probably end around 2 o'clock or so.
Okay. All right, she's gonna call me back. So we
Okay.
can just continue to
Well, we were just kind of just informally chatting about stuff. And one, I mentioned that we got a few more responses on the attendance survey, and a couple more people responded, including one more that preferred Middle Tennessee. And Tracy put a question in the past: have there been concerns voiced about not having enough time to plan and get VT business complete? Yeah, I mean, it goes both ways. So sometimes we get people who fill out the retreat surveys and say, we spent too much time in committees talking about stuff. And for this very same retreat, some people will say we didn't spend enough time in committees planning. So it's, you know, I guess as long as we get a couple of each, then we probably have the right balance. If everybody were saying we had too much time, or if everybody were saying we didn't have enough time, we'd know for sure that we didn't hit the balance right. But I mean, the challenge is, you know, it's a significant amount of stuff to pack into 2 days. But I think what would be helpful, and we talked just briefly about this on the last call.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Would be to not do any kind of training for the commission, because that especially when there's the big task of approving the brand new plan, even if you spend just an hour doing training, you know, that's an hour of time that's taken away from everything else. So that would be my suggestion in terms of trying to avoid a situation where we don't have enough time to do everything.
So what you said, not do any training?
Well, that would be my recommendation, for at least for this one, where there is a new 3-year service plan to review and approve. And I'll share my screen with everyone. This is the agenda from 2022, and again, this was the last time the commission had a new state plan to review and approve. And Tracy put in the chat, we can also modify the volunteering activity. So the last time, you know, there was the kind of the welcome introductory stuff, a few minutes with a local program to come in and say a few things. Then we had the service project, which in 2022, it was I believe it was a virtual service, or it was in the room service project. We didn't leave the building. And so it was only for about 35 minutes. And if I remember correctly, what we did is we had these kind of pre-printed cards that commission members kind of cut out and folded up and made into the little greeting cards for senior citizens who are maybe homebound, I think is maybe what we did. Then we spent a huge chunk of time doing committee work on the state plan. Then a brief break for lunch and continued that committee planning time. So essentially from 10:45, sorry, I'll make it a little bit bigger. Essentially from about 10:45 until 1:15, the committees were split up and doing work on the new plan. And then each committee came back and we spent an hour kind of talking about what each committee had been doing to make sure that everybody was on the same track. And then the committees started thinking about planning for the upcoming year in terms of taking the state plan and developing that, that spreadsheet that has a list of tasks. They started doing that. They did that for an hour. Then we came back and we did another hour of kind of cross committee synchronization. And then about, 35 minutes for each committee to review that year that we were about to finish up and the accomplishments for each committee. And then we wrapped up a little bit before, we wrapped up at 5 o'clock that day. The second day, the meeting started at 8:45. The committee work continued for an hour. Then we had the training for an hour. And then we did the committee synchronization, again, where each committee reports out and we talk about kind of what each committee is doing. Did that for an hour and then moved into the commission business. And the commission business took us up to lunch and then followed up after lunch. So all of this stuff, approving minutes, director's report, actually voting on the state plan. We won't have the commission support grant budget and commission investment fund budget to review and discuss because it's now on a new time frame. We may have, we will have some AmeriCorps funding stuff to review and approve, but that shouldn't take too long. We will not have volunteer generation fund information to approve, but we will have the election of officers and then the recognition of the outgoing officers and the outgoing class of 2025 commission members, whether they're going to do a second term or not. They'll still be recognized. So again, that's what we did the last time we had a full a new 3-year plan to do. Now the one that I'm putting on the screen now is for 2023, and this was a more typical year of just reviewing the previous year and making a plan for the upcoming year. We also had a training that was 2 hours, and that, obviously that's a pretty big chunk of time. But the committee work, and then we had an actual offsite service project, and that offsite service project took a good bit of time. So we essentially from 12:45 until 3 o'clock was tied up with the service project. And then the committees did committee work for an hour. Then we came back for synchronization for about 35 minutes, and then we ended the day at 5. So a much more compressed time frame, mainly because of that, the 2-hour training and then the service project. And then the Friday is pretty similar to to what we were looking at from 2022. Committee planning time for, about an hour and a half, and then the committee report outs and synchronization for about an hour and a half, and then the commission business over lunch and after lunch, with essentially kind of the same list of tasks that need to be done pretty much every year at the retreat. So that's what the retreats have looked like.
Is there any kind of training that we have to have, or that we need to be looking at for that retreat, or not?
Well, the current state plan does have as one of the goals to have annual training for commission staff and programs on DEI issues. But you all probably know that there have been federal executive orders essentially telling programs to stop using federal funds to do that kind of work.
Right.
So we risk running afoul of federal executive orders if we do that kind of training, even though it's specified in the current plan. That's really the only thing that's out there in terms of things that the commission has identified that it wants to do. There's not anything else that's required, and that's only required by the commission itself because it's part of your state plan. There's not any kind of external requirement to do that training. And there's no external requirement to do any other kind of training for the commission members.
Okay. I think with all the controversy with DEI, I don't know, when we are handling federal funds, we probably just need to stay away from that. That's just my opinion. I'd like to hear what some others have to say. I mean, I don't know. The climate that
This is Rebecca. I agree.
Yeah.
This is Rebecca Henderson, and I agree with that.
Okay.
Just stay away.
Okay. Anyone else want to address that topic? Okay. So,
and what we could do, Greg, and Tracy just put something in there. Let's see. If during the icebreaker we could use that to train on Tennessee Serves. Yeah. I think we could.
Okay.
We could figure out something like that, Tracy.
Okay.
And so, Greg, what we could do is staff can kind of take this 2022 agenda, which again is the closest to what the commission needs to do this coming November, and take out the training and adjust some of the other things timing wise.
If you took out the training, how much time you think we would have for a service project? We'd have to go off site, I know, because yes, on that, but
well,
how much time should we allow?
Yeah, well, the training in 2022 was an hour.
Okay.
Was an hour, so that would free up an hour. If we could find something that's close to where we're going to be meeting, and limit the service project to about an hour.
Okay.
We could potentially leave, do the service project, and come back in about an hour and a half.
Okay.
Again, as long as it's close by and it only takes about 5-10 minutes to get there.
Okay.
So that getting rid of the training would free up enough time to do an off-site service project if it's close.
Okay.
If we couldn't identify something that's close, we could also do what we did in 2022, which was an on-site service project where we, again, this example, what we did, I think, was those cards. But the last time actually we met in Murfreesboro, Greg, I don't know if you remember, we asked people to bring items that we then donated to a local organization. And I'll have to go back and look at the records to see what it was. But it was things like diapers and children's clothing and stuff like that. And so we just had people bring those items.
Gotcha.
And then we invited the group, and they came in and talked to the commission for about 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay.
And that was the service project.
Okay.
So it was more of a donation drive type thing than a physical hands-on service project.
Okay. All right.
So I think there's options.
Gotcha. Okay. I've got some ideas that I can work on that and get back with you.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So that'll help us. But then, like I say, your staff's going to work on incorporating the Tennessee Serves in the icebreaker component, right? That was Tracy's idea. I like that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
Okay. All right. And so I'll just keep in mind about an hour and a half, a lot time frame for a project. And it may be that, like I said, we can get organization come in and we do a donation, just bring donations, but I'll let you know.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right.
And if you want, what the staff can do is we can put together a draft agenda with kind of placeholders for things,
Right.
and send that out to the full committee, and just get input on it as we're working to kind of finalize things.
Okay. All right. I'm still waiting on the secretary to call me back. So, one other thing, I guess you talked about officers. Did everybody get the application that Betty put together to review?
This is Rebecca. I don't believe that I did.
Okay. Can you pull that up, Jim?
Yeah, hold on just a second. Let me, because Rebecca's joining us by phone, so Rebecca, I'm gonna email it to you right now.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Hold on. It might take me a second to find it.
I may have received it and accidentally deleted it, or I don't know. My life is kind of a big mess. I had massive flooding in my basement the latter part of July.
Wow.
Have workers house and all that bunch of stuff. So I'm not going to say that I didn't accidentally delete it, because I may have.
That's no problem. I'm going to send it to you right now.
Perfect. Thank you.
So we did get a couple comments on the draft. And actually, what I'm going to do, Rebecca, is I'm going to send you the draft and also the version that includes the feedback that we got, because I think that's the one that one's a bit more polished.
Okay. I'm at my computer and nothing's coming through, but that's
yeah. I'm attaching the polished version right now to the email and sending it off. Okay. So it should be hitting your inbox in just a second. But what I will do for the other folks who have access to see the screen. So this is the version. And so what Betty suggested is that we take the Word document and put it on our letterhead, which staff did that. And so it's just makes it look kind of, it just makes it look a little more official, a little nicer. Let's see. We added, so it asked if it already asked if people were wanting to be a committee chair or sub chair, but it didn't ask what committee they were interested in chairing or sub chairing. So we added that so that people can specify what committee or committees they're interested in kind of leading. I think all of this other stuff, these questions are pretty much the same as what was in the draft. Well, of course, we added the date to return it to Greg by September 24th. So I can scroll back up to the top and go through it a little more slowly if folks want. Oh, I did. I changed this. Previously, it said designation. Actually, I don't remember what it said. I'll have to, if I can get my computer to cooperate with me. Let's see, what did it say? Ooh, I don't know. Sorry. Anyway, it said something here like that to me seemed a bit confusing. So I added voting / ex officio so that they could note whether or not they're a voting member or an ex officio member, because I think that was the intent of what Betty had put in this spot. Right. I don't remember the language that she had in here, but I think that's what she intended, which I think is kind of the point of that, to figure out, like, are you going to have a chair who's a non-voting member versus a voting member?
Okay.
Well, a chair of a committee. The bylaws specify that the chair and vice chair must be voting members. The secretary and treasurer don't have that requirement. So, and in fact, we currently have an ex officio secretary, but the chair and vice chair must be voting members per the bylaws. And I think maybe also the executive order. So that part is important to know for the officers. There's no restriction on whether or not voting versus ex officio can serve as chair of committee chairs. So that's not a problem. Should that be noted on the form? Yeah, probably.
What's that?
Tracy just put in the chat, should that be noted on the form? And I think that's probably a good idea. So I'm going to open up the Word version right now. And maybe if we do an asterisk, maybe, and then below, if I could spell voting correctly. Actually, let me move that down here, just to have it maybe be a little. I don't know if that looks okay to you all to do it that way. Okay. Yvonne's giving a thumbs up. So Rebecca, I know you can't see, but what I did is, for the chair and vice chair, I just put an asterisk after both of those. And then below that section, I put, after the asterisk, that it must be a voting member.
Gotcha.
I think that works.
Yeah. That is a great suggestion, Tracy. Well, I think so. If, depending on whether or not, when Rebecca has a chance to review it, if she doesn't have any additional comments, then I think it's probably ready for you to send out, Greg.
Okay,
And the time frame that the committee talked about last time was to have people submit it to you by the 24th.
right.
So I think, as long as you can get it out, by tomorrow, that would give people 2 full weeks to consider and complete it and send it back to you, which should be enough time. And Greg, I think I sent you the contact list with the email addresses.
Oh, I have to go back and look.
Oh,
Jim,
maybe-
it's Rebecca. Question or comment. And I pulled this up, the email, the attachment that you sent me, and it says application for Volunteer Tennessee Commission.
Office.
Oh, maybe I sent you the wrong thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I might have sent you the wrong thing. There should be in that email. I think
I was just concerned about the 2 prepositions, for and of.
Yeah.
I don't-
Yeah. So yes, that was we corrected that.
Okay,
So,
okay.
and it's actually what
But
we
I just have
corrected
the-
it to. Yeah, well, what we corrected it to, because it's not actually an application for the commission.
Right.
It's a commission to be an officer. So what we corrected it to say is application for Volunteer Tennessee Commission officer.
Okay, I've got that one. It's in a PDF rather than a Word
Yeah.
document.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect.
The Word document is kind of the raw version.
Mhm.
The PDF is a more refined version that looks a little nicer and has some corrections, including that correction. And again,
Okay.
we just added, as we were discussing, the asterisk to under where it says office for which you are applying, put an asterisk by
Yes.
chair and vice chair, and noted that must be a voting member.
Correct. Okay. Yeah. I think that's a good idea. I think this form looks great. Somebody did a lot of hard work on it.
Yeah, well, Betty drafted it up.
Right.
And staff, all we did was put it on our letterhead and make a few kind of formatting adjustments. But Betty did the lion's share of the work.
Well, I really like the part about what are the 3 most critical steps you'd like to see Volunteer Tennessee take, and then the next question is one idea you have for the commission.
Mhm.
And what's your favorite service endeavor? That's pretty nice too. Yeah, y'all have done a good job.
And Jim, I'll check. When do you think you sent the contact list? I have to go back and check.
Let me double check that, Greg, because I thought I did, but maybe I didn't. Let me see. It may be the case that I was it may be the case that I prepared that that list for you and then didn't actually send it.
Okay. All right, I'll look for it. No problem.
Well, I'll follow up after this meeting, regardless of whether I sent it already. I'll send it to you after this meeting to make sure that you have it, along with that final version that we just corrected
Gotcha.
of the application.
Okay. And I'll copy you on what I send out. So,
Yeah, if you don't mind. Yeah. And I think the plan was just for you to send it out to the entire commission,
right.
but both voting and non-voting members, or ex officio members,
Okay.
just because, again, the ex officio folks can hold some of the offices and they can be chairs of committees. They just can't be the chair or vice chair.
Right. Okay. Is there anything else on the retreat? That was our main focus today.
The only other thing that I'd say is, and I apologize. I don't remember if you all discussed it at the last meeting, but the one other thing that typically the board development committee does is check check to see for the commission members whose terms are expiring if they want to be reappointed. And that is let's see, hold on just a second and I'll tell you how many people that is. And actually, I think that, well, if it wasn't in what I did or did not send you, Greg, because again, I don't remember if I actually sent it to you, but I'll put their class on there and highlight the ones whose terms are expiring. But we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3.
But we just do that recognition at the retreat, right? There's nothing we need to do prior to that.
Oh, no. Yeah. So not the recognition, but confirming whether or not they want to be reappointed. Because if they want to be reappointed, well, if they don't want to be reappointed, then that lets us know how many vacant slots we're going to have to fill. And that in turn informs the board development committee at the retreat when we get the applications to consider the applications to fill any vacant slots that we might have.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, so again, typically the board development committee does that. And Greg, however you want to do that, if you want to just call or email all of them yourself, or if you want to split it up amongst the committee.
It shouldn't be that many, should it? I mean, email.
Yeah, it's 1, 2. It's 6 people. It's ideally it should be 8 because we've got 24 that are appointed by the governor, and then we've got a 25th voting member who's actually ex officio, the person who represents the Department of Education, because that's required by by federal statute and the executive order. But anyway, 24 members who are appointed by the governor. So if we had a third rolling off each year, it'd be 8. But we have a couple members who, when they were reappointed or appointed, their end dates weren't what they should have been. And so we've got, I think, 2 people in 1 year so we've got a slightly higher number in that year of people whose terms end. But yeah, 6 is what I'm counting right now. I'll verify that, and again, I'll send the list to you and have those whose terms are expiring. They'll be highlighted on the list that I send.
Okay. And the secretary says she's still waiting on a department answer. And so when he answers me, I'll email you, and then you can forward that to everybody if you would.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
But I think that's checking with the people whose terms expire.
Okay.
Is really the only other thing, because the officers, that's covered with the application. And then once you all have that, you can kind of build your recommended slate for the full commission. I guess you all will, now that I'm thinking through it, you all probably will want to meet one more time before the retreat to review those applications. I mean, we can send them out to you via email so that you all have them to review. But then in terms of building your slate to recommend for the officers, you all might want to meet one more time in person for that. I think. Okay. I mean, you might be able to do it via email.
Okay. All right. Anything else today? And we'll do a doodle poll for the next meeting, or?
Yeah, I think.
Committee.
I think. Yeah, Neelam can put that together. But I think what would probably make sense is maybe after the meeting, Neelam can connect with you, Greg, to make sure that we've got dates that work for you, and then we can send out a doodle poll for those dates.
Okay.
And then Tracy has raised her hand.
What do
Oh,
we
yeah.
think?
And then Yvonne says she joined late and is everything set with the agenda? Yeah. Well, so Yvonne, we're gonna we talked through it, and I think the general consensus was to not do training this year, and instead use that time for the service project, or potentially more time for just general planning and working on the state plan. But the staff are going to generate a draft and send it out to the full committee, and then you all can kind of we can go from there and kind of add, delete, change things around.
Okay. All right.
And so Tracy asked if we have a theme.
Oh.
So in the past, the retreats have had some sort of theme that's, ideally kind of relevant to what's going on with the commission at the time. I think, Tracy, is that what you had your hand raised for? Make sure we talked about that. Yeah, that's why she had her hand raised.
What was the theme on the 2 agendas that you shared?
Let's see. Hold on just a second. Let me pull those back up. So, in well, the one for 2023 was easy because we were about to hit our 30th anniversary, so it was celebrating 30 years of service.
Okay.
The one before was Vision Forward. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but it's vague enough to be kind of generally applicable to lots of situations.
Right.
Yeah. So, one year, because we were getting ready to go into a brand new state plan, it was something like kicking off a new 3 years or something like that. Something that's kind of specifically related to the fact that we were about to launch into a new 3-year plan. Let's see. During COVID, one of the themes was keeping it together, just because we were doing our best just to hang on.
What do you all think about this, keeping volunteerism alive in Tennessee? Off the top of
Yvonne's
my
giving a thumbs up.
head. I mean,
This is Rebecca. Good. But I would kind of like, if it's possible, see something to tie in with the United States 250th birthday. I don't know if it's possible to tie that in or not. And I'm not creative enough to think of something like that.
That's a good point.
and that's this year?
It's next year.
Next year.
Next year.
Okay.
But that's just my thoughts, and I'm just one person.
Okay.
Well, what we could do is just as when we send out the kind of the shell agenda, we could capture those ideas in the email, and people can just kind of start kind of batting around ideas. Yeah, Tracy, I think you can think about it, and maybe just through that email chain, kind of bat around some ideas.
Do I need to mention it in the letter I'm sending out with the application or not?
I don't think so. I mean, that's usually something that the board development committee develops for the retreat. I mean, you can if you want, but I don't think it's necessary.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we're asking our committee members to bat around some ideas and submit those. That'll work. Yeah, I'm like Tracy. We need to have time to think.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
All right.
For sure.
Is that it? Hold on just a minute. getting this call. So I can give you an answer here.
So Vaughn, just to update, Greg earlier called the office, the Murfreesboro City School office where he used to work, just to see if they could host our meeting, because the 4-H office is not available for one of the 2 days that we need, so we can't have it there. So the person from that school office is calling him back about
Okay.
availability.
Jim?
Yeah.
Would it throw us back if we were able to start? I mean, what time is our normal starting time? 9?
So the first day sorry, let me pull back up. So the first day we typically start at 9.
Okay.
And then the second day we typically start a little bit earlier, because anybody who's traveling has
Right.
stayed overnight, and people
The
who are
second day is
commuting.
not a problem, but okay. So Lisa, he said if we could get in there at 8:30 to work for us. Uh-huh. Okay, and it's the volunteer commission. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Tell your boss I said thank you. Okay, thank you. Bye. No, that's fine. Thanks. Bye. Okay, the 6th, we can get in there. There's a group in there till 8:30, so it
Okay.
might take a little bit behind, set up and all that. So but we can get in there at 8:30 on the 6th. And the 7th is not a problem at all. She's got us from 7 to 4.
Okay.
And it's Murfreesboro City Schools.
Okay.
2552
2552.
South Church Street.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, and I'll give you directions, because if you get off at the Shelbyville exit off of I-24, I can't remember what number that is, but you come down about half a mile and it's right there on the right. So
Great.
it's very easy to access.
Yeah, great. Well, after we get off the call, will you connect me via email with the whoever
Okay, the secretary.
confirmed? Because
Sure.
I'll need to work out some logistics with them. Like, we'll need to have a caterer come, and if they have a preferred caterer list, or if they have a loading dock or something. So just some logistical stuff.
I sure will. I'll do that as soon as we finish here.
Great.
Her name is Lisa Van Cleve. She's the administrative assistant to the director of schools.
Okay. Great.
Thank you. And then, like I said, I've got some ideas I'll pass by you about the service project, but I'll need to talk to some folks first at those organizations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. That's all I have. Thanks, everyone, for being a part of this meeting, and we'll keep everybody posted.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.